Beast Control. Starting Contract Sss Qualification Panda. Chapter 31. Come out, Rabbit. Just now Wenxuan took it into the beast control space, and now he released it directly. After the rabbit came out, he looked at everything around him curiously. Is this the human world? After this period of time, Shueyutu's physical condition has improved somewhat. However, it still has a slight odor on it, and it will probably take 2 or 3 days to get rid of it. At this time, Wenxuan could finally take a good look at Shueyutu. The rabbit is 1.4 meters tall. It has a wretched appearance. Its eyes are like those of a thief, and it keeps scanning around. Wenxuan used the Eye of God to check the attributes of Shitongtu. Learning Rabbit. Attributes: plants, rocks. Gender: male. Level: Bronze Level 1. Qualification: SSSR, Peak Strength. Extraordinary King. Evolution Route: Rogue Rabbit. Skills learned: Scud LV6, Learning Tongue LV9, Digging Burrows LV6. Excellent. The attributes of this learning rabbit were so outstanding that the moment Wenxuan saw it, he wanted to conquer it. First of all, this guy's qualification is SSSR, which means that as long as Wenxuan trains him well, this guy can reach the realm of an extraordinary king. That is the extraordinary king, the top existence in this world. Another point is that this Shueyutu has a skill, Shueyu. Moreover, he is also a disciple of LV9, which means that this guy can communicate with all animals without any barriers. This is very important to Wenxuan. Who wouldn't love a talking rabbit? The remaining 2 skills are quite satisfactory and are enough for Wenxuan for the time being. Okay, Shueyutu, go back and rest. Wenxuan waved his hand and took Shueyutu back into the beast controlling space. When Wang Bin saw Wenxuan putting the learning rabbit under his control, he couldn't help but ask Wenxuan, Wenxuan, I'm a little curious as to why you insist on subduing this guy. It's nothing, maybe I like it. Like. Wang Bin frowned. If Wenxuan wasn't acting normally now, he really doubted whether Wenxuan was sick. By the way, Zhu Ming, do you still have the laxative? Wang Bin turned to Zhu Ming and asked. Yes, I have. What are you going to do? It's nothing, I just think this medicine is very good. If I subdue a second beast in the future, I think I can also use this trick. When Zhu Ming heard this, he nodded, took out a large package of Yixi Chinli from the box on the bedside and handed it to Wang Bin. After he gave it, he did not forget to tell Wang Bin, this thing is only useful for monsters with a strength below silver. No matter how high the strength is, it will be ineffective. Ah. Is it only useful for monsters with silver strength or below? After Wang Bin heard this, he felt a little resentful. He originally wanted to rely on this medicine to turn the dragon around. When Zhu Ming saw Wang Bin's expression, he couldn't help but said, oh, this is my 1.0 version. It doesn't matter. I'm still researching it now. 2.0 will be released soon. When Wang Bin heard this, his eyes lit up and he said eagerly, when you get a new one, you must give me a copy first. That's for sure, which one of us will follow which one? Listening to the conversation between the two, Wenxuan and Mao Mao looked at each other. The next day, early in the morning, on the school playground. 2 figures were jogging there. There is something different about the playground today, that is, there is an extra guy in the stands. It's the tongue-tied rabbit. Delicious, oh, so delicious. There are a lot of fruits in front of the rabbit. It was miserable yesterday. Those fruits were compensated by Wenxuan. Just as the rabbit was feasting, a guy appeared. He saw Shueyutu, his eyes full of curiosity. Hey, there is actually a rabbit here. The guy walked towards Shueyu rabbit. When Shueyutu saw this, he quickly put away all the food. What are you doing? You don't want to steal my fruit, do you? Listening to Shueyutu's words, the corner of this guy's mouth couldn't help but twitch. He didn't expect that the tongue-tied rabbit in front of him could actually protect his food. The situation on Shueyutu's side attracted Wenxuan's attention, and Wenxuan took a bow and ran to the stands. What do you want? Wenxuan noticed that the guy in front of him looked like a teacher. It's nothing, it's just that someone asked me to take care of you, so I came to see you. Take care of me. Who? Dugu Tongtong. Teacher Tongtong. Why did Teacher Tongtong ask you to take care of me? Because she's gone. She's gone. Wen Xuan felt a little incredible that Dugu Tongtong, a teacher who did such a good job, left just as he said so. Because she got what she wanted. Don't you think she has no intention of being so kind to you? She is not as noble as you think. She treats you well just to take advantage of you. You won first place in the freshman competition, and she gained a lot of points. Now that she has used her points to get what she wants, she naturally leaves. And boy, let me remind you not to have any contact with her again. Listening to the words of the guy in front of him, Wen Xuan seemed a little calm. His performance surprised Feng Shang. As she said, "You are too mature." I'm surprised. Aren't you angry when you hear this? She does seem to be taking advantage of you, after all. When Feng Shang heard Dugu Tongtong praise Wen Xuan so much, he couldn't help but test Wen Xuan. In Feng Zhang's subconscious mind, when Wen Xuan heard this, he should have felt that he was being taken advantage of, and then he flew into a rage and kept cursing Dugu Tongtong. But he didn't. He was so calm that it was scary. Why should I be angry? When she leaves, she leaves. As for the utilization you mentioned, it depends on how you look at it. At least in my opinion, she really helped me a lot. Without Dugu Tongtong's help, Wen Xuan and Abao's strength would not have improved so quickly. Feng Shang nodded. Okay, I won't disturb your training, I'm leaving. Dugu Tongtong is gone, and I will be your teacher from now on. If you have anything in the future, you can come to me at any time. After saying that, Feng Shang left. Looking at Feng Zhang's retreating figure, Wen Xuan fell into deep thought. Dugu Tongtong left and was replaced by a mentor who was a bit ruffian. For them, they didn't know whether it was a good thing or a bad thing. Forget it. Wen Xuan twisted his neck, stretched, and then reached out to get some fruit. As a result, the guy who learned the tongue subconsciously wanted to protect her. Wen Xuan didn't expect that Shuiyu too had a problem with protecting his food. Maybe it's not easy to survive in the wild, so it has a different obsession with food. When Shuiyu too saw Wen Xuan's expression change, he immediately took out an apple and put it in Wen Xuan's hand. At the same time, he took out a banana and handed it to Po. I have to say that Shuiyu too's ability to observe words and emotions is quite good. Wen Xuan and the two beasts were on the playground and ate all the big bag of fruit. Looking at the bag full of fruit peels, he frowned slightly. It seems like I have to find something to do, otherwise I will be left in vain. Wen Xuan's grandfather only gave him 2,000 yuan a month for food expenses. If Wen Xuan was just an ordinary student, the money would be barely enough. But he is now a beast master. Whether he buys food for the beasts or medicines for their training, he needs money. Let's go to the Beast Masters Association to take a look. There is a bulletin board in the Beastmaster Association with various tasks on it. As long as you complete the tasks above, you can get corresponding rewards. Wen Xuan brought two Beast Masters to the Beast Masters Association. Just entering the Beast Tamer Association, Wen Xuan was still shocked by the scene inside. He was busy getting the Beast Master certificate before, so he didn't observe carefully. Now he finally had time to take a closer look. People come and go in the Beast Masters Association, and most of them are accompanied by a beast. There are various kinds of beasts, and their strength is also uneven, but one thing is certain, that is, the beasts will not be scary. After all, the Beast Masters Association has regulations that do not allow the release of large beasts in the city, because it will cause panic. Therefore, it is almost impossible for Wen Xuan to see beasts like Tyrannosaurus Rex in the Beast Masters Association. He walked to the task card and started to check it. Wen Xuan's arrival attracted the attention of many veteran beast masters. Hey, a little baby came here today. Yes, and it looks like this little doll is quite handsome. Hey, kid, these are all tasks that can only be done by beast masters. They require more experience to complete. This is not playing house, people may die, so I advise you to go back and practice well for a while before coming back. Hearing the words of these uncles, Wen Xuan couldn't help rolling his eyes. He did not answer them, but looked to himself. When the uncles saw Wen Xuan like this, they were immediately happy. Hey, why is this little guy so stubborn? He's like a cow. Hey, haven't you ever listened to others' advice and have something to eat? You might die outside if you look like this. After listening to his uncle's earnest advice, Wenxuan remained indifferent. Hey, Lao Li, let's just leave him alone. He's looking for death himself and can't blame anyone else. We have accepted the mission, so let's hurry up and prepare properly. When the uncle heard this, his mouth opened slightly. He was about to say something, but the words disappeared from his mouth. Well, he sighed, turned around and left with his companions. Wenxuan glanced at the uncle, and then continued to check the mission. Looking for iron ore. After Wenxuan searched for it, he finally saw a task that suited him. Iron ore is a product in a small secret realm. The mission says that as long as the iron ore is brought back, a reward of 10,000 Chinese coins will be given. 10,000. In order to prevent accidents, Wenxuan took out his mobile phone and started searching for information about the iron ore secret realm. As the highest strength of the monsters inside only the bronze level. This is a world of beast masters. If there are beast masters, there will naturally be a beast master forum. The information on this forum is updated in real time, and most of it will be error-free. Let's go. Wenxuan took Abao and Tubao and set off towards the iron ore secret realm. They left the Beast Masters Association, called a car at the door, and arrived at the entrance of the secret realm. In this world, in addition to the magical beasts in the wild, they are also found in various secret realms. Each secret realm country has sent specialized personnel to guard it, mainly to prevent the monsters in the secret realm from running out and causing harm to the world. Because of this, in order to maintain the expenses of these guards, they will collect symbolic tolls from the beast masters who enter the secret realm. This toll is only charged once, the time you enter, and there is no need to collect it again when you come out. And after entering, everything obtained in the secret realm belongs to the explorer. However, there are exceptions to this kind of thing, and that is those private secret realms. If you want to enter a private secret realm, you have to pay a certain price, both for entering and for coming out. Wenxuan came to two guards wearing green uniforms. Hello, please show your Beast Master certificate. One of the guards in green uniform stopped Wenxuan. When Wenxuan saw this, he took out a Beast Master certificate from his pocket and handed it to the staff. After the staff checked, he saluted Wenxuan. Hello, your information has been confirmed, please pay the admission fee of 500 yuan. Good. Wenxuan took out 500 yuan and handed it to the staff, and they let him go. He took his two beasts with him, crossed the portal, and entered the ore secret realm. As soon as Wenxuan entered, the two guards started chatting. Hey, look, another little guy came to explore. You said he would run out in a few seconds. I don't know. It must have taken 10 minutes. I think this guy is quite strong. He is at the 5th level of bronze. Level 5 bronze. That's not better than me. The strength of the person speaking is bronze level 4. The Beast Master can sense the opponent's strength through their breath. Of course, this is limited to high-level Beast Masters looking at low-level Beast Masters. Low-level Beast Masters cannot see through the strength of high-level Beast Masters. Wenxuan is an exception. He has the eye of God that others do not have. Is this the inside of the secret realm? After Wenxuan entered the secret realm, he quickly glanced around. He found that the inside of this secret realm was somewhat similar to the outside. It was also a world. This is a volcanic area, with an active volcano in the distance erupting strong magma. Boom! A deafening sound came. The magma in the volcano was activated again, and it rushed thousands of meters into the sky. Suddenly, thick smoke billowed, the entire sky looked gray, and countless volcanic ash fell from the sky. Seeing this, Wenxuan quickly took out a mask from his backpack and put it on. Let's go. Before coming, he had already made a strategy and bought a map. Wenxuan followed the map and walked towards the mine. Soon, he came to the mine. However, Wenxuan did not go in. It was not that he did not want to go in, but that the entrance to the mine was guarded by two guys. Cave Goblin. Wenxuan did not expect that there were cave goblins here. It seems that they plan to use this mine as their territory. Go up rabbit and lure them over. Ah. This guy Shuiyutu is simply a human spirit. When it was first subdued by Wenxuan, it was obedient. Now that it has become familiar with Wenxuan, its rebellious nature began to slowly show up. Ah, what? Why don't you hurry up? Good. When people are under the eaves, they have to lower their heads. Wenxuan lets him go, and the most he can do is complain a few words. The rabbit came to the two cave goblins. Come on, come and eat uncle. Have you seen uncle's plump butt? Is this delicious? The rabbit began to shake its huge butt towards the two cave goblins. The cave goblins are intelligent monsters, but their IQs are not high. After they saw the rabbit, they looked at each other, and then ran toward the rabbit howling. When the rabbit saw this, he immediately rubbed oil on the soles of his feet and ran away. It started running, but it didn't run very fast. Instead, it deliberately slowed down so that the two chasing cave goblins thought it could catch up. The rabbit successfully lured the two cave goblins out. Wenxuan and Abao waited in ambush for a long time. Just as the cave gnome was passing by, Po suddenly jumped out from behind a big rock. It slapped a cave goblin with a fierce palm, smashing its bones into pieces. Then Abao pounced on another cave goblin and killed it with the same palm. When Wenxuan saw this, he took out a dagger. He didn't take action, but handed the dagger to Shuiyutu. What? Go and see if these two cave goblins have Warcraft crystal cores. If there is any, dig it out for me. Ah. Shuiyutu didn't expect that this guy Wenxuan regarded him as a coolie. Ah, what? Don't you want to eat tonight? When he heard the word, eat, Shuiyutu ran more actively than anyone else. It ran to work in a hurry. Not long after, two Warcraft crystal cores appeared in Wenxuan's hands. When Wenxuan saw this, he subconsciously glanced at the rabbit in front of him and thought to himself, this cheap rabbit has all its attributes focused on luck. I killed two cave goblins at random, and two magic beast crystal cores exploded. Rabbit. What? Here you go, eat it. Give me. Shuiyutu looked a little surprised, and his first impression of Wenxuan was a bit bad. After all, Wenxuan used dirty tricks to conquer it. As soon as he recalled the previous scene, Shuiyutu's body couldn't help but tremble. As he thought about it, his stomach started to hurt for no reason. I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore. I can't think about it. I can't think about it. Shuiyutu no longer recalled the previous encounter, and directly stuffed the two Warcraft crystal cores handed over by Wenxuan into his mouth. Click. Click. Well, it doesn't taste bad, a bit like hard candy. When eating, Shuiyutu did not forget to lick his fingers. Hard candy. The corners of Wenxuan's mouth couldn't help but twitch. He didn't expect that Shitantu's teeth were so good and could crush such hard things. Cave goblins are monsters with evil attributes and rock attributes. The crystal cores of them can be eaten just right without wasting a lot. After getting rid of the two cave goblins guarding the door, Wenxuan was thinking about whether to enter the cave. There was a burst of footsteps and noise not far away. Wenxuan immediately found a corner and hid. Not long after, several burly men appeared. They came to the entrance of the mine and then went straight in. It's them. The people Wenxuan recognized were the same uncles he had met in the Beastmasters Association. Wenxuan did not expect that they would also come to this place. What are they here for? Wenxuan was a little curious, so he quietly followed a few people with Abao and Shuiyutu. Several uncles were a bit strong, and Wenxuan discovered that the strongest one among them had the strength of 9th level bronze. That's the 9th level of bronze, just a little bit close to reaching the silver level. Bang! An uncle's hammer dwarf used his hammer to smash a cave goblin to death, and the small-scale battle ended. I didn't expect so many dirty things to come into this mine. A look of disgust flashed across an uncle's face. Okay, stop talking nonsense and leave quickly. The leader was a bald man, he looked a bit fierce, and he looked a little anxious now, urging the big guy. Good. Everyone else is his little brother and obeys his orders. As long as we complete this order, I will be able to purchase the broken mirror pill. By then, I will be a silver level beast master. When the time comes, if you follow me, then you will be the one who is popular and the one who drinks spicy food. Yes, yes, yes. All the younger brothers quickly agreed. They continued to go deeper, and Wenxuan naturally followed closely behind. Soon, they came to the depths of the mine. Whoosh! Just when they reached the end, a fireball was launched. When everyone saw this, they hurriedly ran away. Boom! The fireball fell to the ground and exploded. Oh, I thought there were only ordinary cave goblins here, but I didn't expect there was a goblin warlock. Okay, stop talking nonsense and let's take action together. Kill the other party for me. Goblin warlock. Attribute. Evil, rock. Gender, female. Level, bronze level 9. Qualification, beat peak strength. Gold. Evolution root, Goblin Grand Warlock. Skills learned, Gunpowder LV6, Flying Stone LV6, Weakness LV5, Fear LV4. The two sides began to fight. Boom boom boom. The sound of battle explosions was heard throughout the cave. The entire cave began to shake violently, and a large amount of dust fell from the ceiling. When Wenxuan saw this, he hurriedly retreated outside. Are these guys crazy? Fighting in such a small space. It would be fun if this mine collapsed. Wenxuan was very fast and ran out of the mine not long after. After he came out of the mine, he did not leave. Instead, he found a hidden place and waited quietly. Wenxuan's waiting was effective. He waited for about 5 minutes. A figure flew out of the cave and fled into the distance. Stupid rabbit, catch up with that guy. Wenxuan has the eye of God, and as soon as that guy ran out, Wenxuan saw the other person's situation thoroughly. The guy who escaped was the Goblin Warlock, and it was seriously injured at the moment. Even though it was running so fast now, Wenxuan knew it couldn't run far. The rabbit has scuds, and the Goblin Warlock is seriously injured at this time, so there is no problem in catching up with it. Not long after the Goblin Warlock ran out of the mine, the burly men who entered the mine ran out. They looked disgraced. His grandma's property was actually run away by that guy. My dwarf leader was seriously injured by it, and it actually ran away like that. They were all furious, as if they wanted to eat the Goblin Warlock alive. Boss, what should we do now? What else can be done? Go back. Go back. Go back to where? Of course, go back to the mine. Go back to the mine. Just let the Goblin Warlock go. What else can we do? The place here is so big and that guy runs so fast. It's almost impossible to find him. Forget it, just follow the original plan and find the thing. After saying that, they turned around and walked into the mine. When Wenxuan saw this, he just glanced at the mine and then left. He now has to go find Shueyutu and deal with the Goblin Warlock first. Shueyu Rabbit is Wenxuan's royal beast. It has a telepathic connection with Wenxuan. Through this telepathy, Wenxuan successfully found Shueyu Rabbit. Where's that guy? Hearing this, the Shueshi Rabbit pointed to a nearby place with his finger. Cough cough cough. Cough cough cough. The Goblin Warlock now lay on the ground, coughing and coughing up a lot of blood. It looked like it had suffered a lot of injuries. Wenxuan saw this. Come on, let's give it a ride. Wenxuan asked Abao and Shueyutu to attack. Abao was in the distance. It opened its mouth, and a black energy ball condensed and then spit out. Its pose Shadow Ball. Whoosh. The black energy ball flew towards the Goblin Warlock and successfully hit the Goblin Warlock. Bang. There was an explosion. The Goblin Warlock was already seriously injured and was in a state of being left in the wind. It was hit by Abao's Shadow Ball and was even more seriously injured. Its body suddenly fell to the ground. However, it did not give up the hope of living, but struggled, trying to stand up again through hard work. Bang. A figure suddenly emerged from the soil. It. Sneak attack. A sharp right whip kick hit the Goblin Warlock's body. The Goblin Warlock was unprepared and was kicked away. The one who sneak attacked the Goblin Warlock was the Gnome Rabbit. It dug a hole into the ground, then suddenly jumped out and gave the Goblin Warlock a kick. Boom. The Goblin Warlock hit a dead tree behind, and its body was knocked to a stop. He tilted his head and suddenly burped. Is it dead? Shueyutu was a little shocked. He didn't expect that he would kill the opponent with such a kick. Wenxuan nodded. Although some monsters are capable of pretending to be dead, Wenxuan is a person with the eye of God. It is almost impossible for the other party to deceive him. Go ahead and dig out its Warcraft crystal core. Hello. With the previous experience, Shueyutu was familiar with the road. It came to the Goblin Warlock, took out a dagger, and stabbed the Goblin Warlock. Kang. 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 After all, the Goblin Warlock is a 9th level bronze monster. It has rough skin and thick flesh. It took a lot of effort to dig out its monster crystal core. For you. Shueyutu handed Wenxuan the dug-out Warcraft crystal core of the Goblin Warlock. When he gave it to him, he did not forget to complain, this dagger is really difficult to use. When Wenxuan heard this, he couldn't help but give Shui Yutu a blank look. But Shui Tantu was telling the truth, that dagger was only an ordinary item after all. It's okay, I'll get a good one for you when the time comes. Real. When the Shatong rabbit heard this, his eyes lit up. For the dagger, it has a different kind of obsession. Okay, stop talking nonsense, I'll give this to you, please refine it. Let's see if we can get any skills. Wenxuan handed the goblin warlock back to Shui Yutu. Seeing this, Shui Yutu took it, stuffed it into his mouth, and started chewing. The energy in the goblin warlock's Warcraft crystal core is very sufficient. After Shui Yutu ate it, he immediately felt a surge of energy flowing from his belly to his surroundings. It didn't dare to lift it up, so it immediately sat down and started refining. Wenxuan did not disturb Shui Yutu, but walked towards the body of the goblin warlock. People often say that the whole body of a monster is full of treasures. Wenxuan wanted to see if there was any treasure in this goblin warlock. He used the Eye of God, groped around, and finally found a stone in its pocket. A stone that glows with silver. This mithril. Wenxuan did not expect that he would find a mithril on the goblin warlock. This mithril is a good thing. When forging weapons, as long as a little bit of mithril is added, Wenxuan can get an extremely strong weapon. I didn't expect I was so lucky. Wenxuan put it directly into his backpack. Shui Yutu was still refining, its body glowed with red light, and energy surged rapidly through its body. Shui Yutu's strength is also increasing at a speed visible to the naked eye. In a short while, it was upgraded from bronze level 1 to bronze level 3. It's really fast. Is this the benefit of attribute adaptation? Moreover, the rapid improvement of Shui Yutu has something to do with its accumulated experience. Its previous state was that it didn't have enough to eat, couldn't wear warm clothes, let alone eat the World of Warcraft crystal cores. It's different now. Wenxuan serves delicious food and drinks. It's natural that its strength improves quickly. After waiting for a while, Shui Yutu was finally refined, and its strength reached the peak of the 3rd level of bronze, almost reaching the 4th level of bronze. Wenxuan looked at Shui Yutu, and he found that Shui Yutu had not only improved in strength, but also learned a new skill, gunpowder. Learning rabbit. Attributes: plants, rocks. Gender: male. Level: bronze level 3. Qualification: SSSR, peak strength, extraordinary king. Evolution route: rogue rabbit. Skills learned: Scud LV6, Learning Tongue LV9, Digging Burrow LV6, Gunpowder LV5. Only LV5. Wenxuan thought that Shui Yutu could understand it 100%. If there were outsiders here, they would definitely scold Wenxuan for being greedy. It's a blessing to be able to understand the skills after the beast has swallowed the crystal core of the monster. Most beast control skills start from level 1. Shui Yutu has directly realized the 5th level, which is already considered a gift. Wenxuan's eyes fell on the entry of gunpowder technique. Gunpowder can conjure a bomb out of thin air to attack the enemy. Bomb. What the hell? Hearing this, the Shatong rabbit smiled slightly. I saw it flipping its hand like a rabbit, and a carrot appeared in its palm. But the tail of the carrot is the fuse of gunpowder. It has been ignited and is sizzling. Shui Yutu suddenly threw the carrot in his hand. Bang! The carrot was like a grenade. After it hit the ground, there was a big explosion. A big crater was blasted not far away. After Shuexitu saw it, he was extremely excited. Explosion is art. Who could resist an exploding carrot? Shui Yutu seemed to be addicted to this. He quickly glanced around and found a huge stone not far away. After it saw it, the corners of its mouth slightly raised and it flew towards the stone. Boom! 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 In this open place, explosions were heard one after another. Wenxuan looked at Shui Yutu. This guy had used bomb carrots many times and spent a lot of energy. He was panting heavily. Okay, you've felt good enough. Let's take a good rest. Wenxuan looked forward, and as far as he could see, it was a mess, with deep craters left by bomb explosions everywhere. That stone had already been blown into powder by Shui Yutu. Wenxuan took out the food from his backpack and found a slightly cleaner place to eat with Shui Yutu and Abao. After eating, several people suddenly became alert. Someone is coming. They subconsciously ran away and found a hidden place to hide. What happened? Why did the explosion disappear? The visitor looked at the empty field in front of him, where only the explosion crater was left. They all frowned. Boss, look at that. Suddenly a younger brother spoke and pointed his finger not far away. That's where the Goblin Warlock is, and the body of the Goblin Warlock is lying there quietly at this time. Ha ha ha. Several people started laughing. It's just like mountains and rivers, there is no way out, and there is a village with dark flowers and bright flowers. We tried so hard, but we didn't find the mithril in the mine. Now that I've encountered the body of this Goblin Warlock, I've paid back my money. Several people immediately moved towards the body of the Goblin Warlock. When they got closer, everyone's expressions became ugly. They did not expect that the fruits of their hard work would be reaped by others first. Who is it? Several people roared wildly on the spot. They yelled for a long time, but no one responded. Grass. The bald boss couldn't help but curse. I'm so unlucky today. No, I've been holding back a lot of anger. I'm going to find that tonight to relieve my anger. After saying that, he left directly. The other boys looked at each other and followed the big brother. Not long after they left, Wenxuan, Abao and Shuetutu emerged from the soil. That's right, it just came out of the soil. Shuetutu knew the skill of digging holes in the ground. When Wenxuan saw someone coming, he immediately asked Shuetutu to dig a big hole in the ground. He and Abao hid in, and then blocked the entrance of the cave with volcanic ash. Because there were traces of carrot bomb explosions everywhere, Baldhead and the others didn't notice any clues here. Wenxuan glanced at the body of the Goblin Warlock and knew that it was not suitable to stay here for a long time. So he left immediately. He did not leave the secret realm immediately, but went to the mine. After arriving at the mine, Wenxuan suddenly felt that the bald group was all good people. Their battle knocked out the iron ore from the mine. Wenxuan picked a piece of iron ore of about the same size, put it into his backpack, and then started on his way home. As soon as he came out of the secret realm, he attracted the attention of two guards. After Wenxuan left, they started chatting. This young man can do it. Yes, the future is limitless. I entered the secret realm alone and successfully dug out iron ore. It's really cool. Compared with him, what are the guys who entered the secret realm before? They are all young people, they are so good, but those guys just cry for their mothers. Oh, comparing people to each other will lead to death. Wenxuan came to the Beast Masters Association carrying iron ore on his back, and he was ready to hand in the task. As a result, in the process of handing in the task, he happened to meet the person who issued the task. It was an old man with long hair. He was wearing denim overalls and had a strong build, but he looked so amiable. There is always a faint smile on his lips. Hey, look, the inventor is here again. Bring the inventor. Wenxuan murmured in his heart. These guys' words were obviously not compliments, but rather mocking. I don't know what this guy is going to do again. Oh, no matter what he does, it's just some garbage anyway. If he can make something useful, I will chop off his head and use it as a stool for you to sit on. After the uncle heard this, he ignored these guys and left with the iron ore that Wenxuan had just handed over. Wenxuan also received the bonus. He looked at the uncle's retreating back and couldn't help but follow him. Because when the uncle came in, Wenxuan saw a lot of light on his body, which was the light emitted by the treasure. At this stage, it was the first time that Wenxuan saw a person with blue light items all over his body. After the uncle left the Beast Tamer Association, he put the iron ore on the 3-bouncer and drove away with the 3-bouncer. When Wenxuan saw this, he immediately hailed a taxi and followed it. The uncle finally arrived at a yard and stopped. He opened the iron gate of the yard and drove in. Wenxuan naturally paid the fare and got out of the taxi. He followed into the courtyard. At this time, the uncle removed the iron ore from the 3 bungs and placed them on the ground. When he saw Wenxuan, he couldn't help but said to Wenxuan, "Since you are here, let's help." Good. Wenxuan helped him move the iron ore to the workshop inside. After placing the iron ore, the uncle said to Wenxuan, "Let me buy you a drink." After the uncle finished speaking, he walked towards the refrigerator nearby. He started to operate. That's right, it's operation. Wenxuan looked at the uncle, not knowing, but shocked when he saw it. Hey guys, this guy locked the refrigerator. After a lot of effort, he finally took out a bottle of red wine and a plate of skewered meat. The uncle always had a smile on his face. He opened the red wine, poured a glass for Wenxuan from a goblet, and poured a glass for himself as well. Then he shook it gently a few times, picked it up, put it to his mouth, and took a small sip. Grace. It's so elegant. For those who don't know, they might think that he is a descendant of some noble family, who fell into this situation after falling into despair. Little brother, let me treat you to a kebab. Kebab. Before Wenxuan could react, the uncle had already walked to the canvas on the side. He grabbed the canvas with both hands and with a sudden force, the entire canvas was instantly lifted. What was covered under the canvas was revealed. Steel, piano. Wenxuan's eyes widened. He did not expect that there was a piano under the canvas. The uncle always had a charming smile on his lips. After laying the barbecue on the piano, he sat on the piano stool. When the uncle started to play, it's the Symphony of Destiny. As the uncle played, the piano actually began to float in the room. And the barbecue placed on top of the piano began to sizzle. Awesome, awesome. Being able to combine piano and barbecue, this guy is a tough guy. Wenxuan couldn't help but praise in his heart. Just a song. The uncle stood up and brought a large amount of barbecued mutton skewers to Wenxuan. Here, let's eat for you. Thanks. Wenxuan took it and began to taste it. Well, it's delicious. I thought the quality of the barbecue would be poor, either undercooked or burnt. I didn't expect that the heat was just right. It's delicious, I think so. As the uncle spoke, he jerked off a string. When Wenxuan saw this, he hesitated and couldn't help but asked curiously, don't you think it's strange? Why am I here? And you don't seem to be resisting me. Well, hearing Wenxuan's words, the uncle couldn't help but sigh, his face full of helplessness and loneliness. Maybe I've been lonely for too long and want to find someone to keep me company. When Wenxuan heard this, he nodded. He can understand the uncle. After all, he is an inventor. Who doesn't want the things he invented to be recognized by others? But the things he invented were indeed useless, so he was often criticized. The two began to eat mutton skewers. After eating, the uncle said straight to the point, what's the matter with you coming to me? Nothing, I just want you to help me build a weapon. Don't worry, I will pay you. As long as you tell me how much it will cost. Build a weapon for you. What weapon do you want? A dagger, a sharp one. When the uncle heard this, he smiled slightly. I'm good at this, but I have a request. What request? You prepare the iron ore yourself for crafting. As for the cost of crafting, I won't charge you. I had a great time chatting with you today. I think I made a friend. Good. After speaking, the uncle found that Wenxuan had no intention of leaving. He originally thought that Wenxuan would continue to search for iron ore, but to his surprise, he was still here. Can I use this to forge a dagger? When the uncle heard this, he subconsciously looked at the thing in Wenxuan's hand. After seeing that thing, the uncle instantly lost his composure. His eyes widened, and he ran to Wenxuan in a flash and took the stone over. This is mithril. The uncle felt goosebumps all over his body. Oh my god, it's such a big piece. Ordinary weapons, with a little bit of mithril added, are tough as hell. The uncle can no longer imagine it. Okay, little brother, just leave it to me without any worries. Wait for me here, and I'll help you forge it right away. Seeing the urgent look on the uncle's face, Wenxuan felt uneasy. He won't forge something weird for me. The uncle walked into the workshop and started forging. In order to forge this piece of mithril into a dagger, the uncle spent a lot of energy. He started to get busy. I was busy from day to night, but luckily I had some kebabs to fill my stomach. It's done, it's done. Ha 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 ha, I worked so hard and finally it's done. Wenxuan was sitting outside now, and he almost fell asleep. At this time, the uncle walked out excitedly. Little brother, come on, give it a try quickly. As the uncle spoke, he handed the dagger in his hand to Wenxuan. What is this? After seeing the dagger handed over by the uncle, Wenxuan felt speechless for a while. What he clearly wanted was a dagger, but the uncle actually forged it into a small saw. Dagger. Yeah, if you don't believe me, just press the switch above. When Wenxuan heard this, he subconsciously pressed the switch on the dagger. Instantly, the entire dagger began to move. Sizzle. The sound of a chainsaw came out. Good guy. Wenxuan called him a good guy. What he obviously wanted was a dagger, but the uncle was stunned and got him a chainsaw. Don't you want a dagger that can sharpen iron like clay? That's it. How can ordinary daggers be as powerful as mine? If you don't believe me, you can give it a try. Move, there is an iron plate over there, you will know after you try it. When Wenxuan heard this, he was hesitant and a little afraid of bringing in the inventor. But after seeing the light of the dagger in his hand, Wenxuan became much calmer. Can you believe it? This is actually a purple weapon. But Wenxuan was still shocked by the appearance of the dagger. The mithril was obviously silver-white, but the uncle turned it into a small black chainsaw. Ugly. The dagger in my hand is really ugly. However, Wenxuan is a positive person. After thinking about it, he quickly felt relieved. The advantage of being ugly is that it won't attract anyone's attention. He took the dagger and came to the iron plate. Turn on the switch and touch it gently. Tear. It was like sharp scissors cutting through jeans. Is it so crisp and smooth? At this moment, Wenxuan finally understood what it means to cut iron like clay. He started to hold the dagger and wave it around randomly. Wenxuan cut a good iron plate into 7 or 8 small iron plates. Well, baby, you are indeed a good baby. He looked at the dagger and found that it was embedded with a World of Warcraft crystal core. What's the use of this thing? Of course it works. The sharpness of this dagger depends entirely on this magical beast crystal core. Its principle is to convert the energy in the crystal core of the Warcraft into the kinetic energy of the rotation of the saw blade. When Wenxuan heard this, he nodded. It's really a chainsaw. But it doesn't matter, as long as it works. By the way, if this Warcraft crystal core is used up, can it be replaced? Okay, you just need to find a wind-attributed Warcraft crystal core and embed it in it. Well, I understand. Wenxuan put away the dagger and prepared to say goodbye to his uncle. At this moment, the uncle smiled and said to Wenxuan, Chengwei, a total of 5 million. 5 million. Wenxuan's eyes widened. At this moment, he was a little angry. He allowed the other party to make a bid, but he did not allow the other party to open his mouth. This is to kill him like a pig. You don't charge money, don't you? Wenxuan said. There is no charge for forging, but there is charge for that piece of iron. That's what I worked so hard to forge. When Wenxuan heard this, he used the eye of God to look at the iron plate, and found that it was an ordinary iron plate. Okay, don't do that here or there. Well, I just forged the dagger for you, and the remaining scraps belong to me. Let's settle this. When Wenxuan heard this, he suddenly realized. He thought he had misjudged the person. It turned out that the uncle was thin-skinned and wanted those mithril scraps, but he was too embarrassed to say it, so he had to take this trick. The weapons have been forged, and those mithril scraps are just garbage to Wenxuan. How could he take the garbage away? Okay, then I'll give you those. Real. Mithril waste is garbage to Wenxuan, but to the uncle, it is a priceless treasure. It's true. Okay, thank you then. Little brother, if you want to forge something else in the future, you can come to me at any time. I'll give you free forging. The uncle is a great inventor, and what he likes most is tinkering with things. He could find pleasure in it, so he was willing to forge it for Wenxuan. Then there will be a lot of trouble. It's okay, you can just come. Anyway, I'm always alone. It's good to have someone to talk to. After some pleasantries, Wenxuan left. Wenxuan did not return to school immediately, but came to a forest. Come out, rabbit. Wenxuan summoned Shuiyutu. What? The Shuiyutu was yawning now. It was obvious that it was sleeping in the beast control space just now. This is for you. Po already has a strong attack power. He doesn't need weapons. His huge bare paws are the best weapons. Shuiyutu is different. Although it has just learned the skill of gunpowder, in the final analysis, this skill is still a long-range attack skill. It would be bad if someone gets close to it while fighting. Therefore, Wenxuan planned to give the dagger to Shuiyutu. Shuiyutu took the dagger from Wenxuan's hand and looked at it curiously. Okay, stop looking and give it a try. Give it a try. Yes, press the button above. Hearing this, Shatong Rabbit pressed the joy button, and the dagger's switch was instantly turned on. Zizizi. A sound broke through the air, and Shueyutu found that the dagger in his hand was vibrating. It was a little curious and subconsciously touched the dagger in its hand towards the big tree on the side. Whoosh! The dagger in Shueyutu's hand directly cut open the big tree. Click! Boom! The big tree collapsed suddenly, and Shueyutu was still in a state of confusion. Okay, don't stand there stupidly, get used to it quickly. Hearing this, Shueyutu smiled, showing a strange smile. It transformed into a tree-cutting maniac. If Shang Da Shang were here, he would definitely cry. Shueytunitu is a guy who is even better than a bald guy. After playing for a while, Shueyutu returned to Wenshuan. It was still playing with the dagger in its hand, looking like it couldn't put it down. Okay, I will leave the task of collecting Warcraft crystal cores to you in the future. What? If you don't want to, give me the dagger and I'll give it to Abao. Upon hearing this, Shatong Rabbit immediately put away the dagger, as if it was afraid that Wenshuan would take it away. Let's go home. Wenshuan took Shueyutu back to school. During this period, he wanted to put the learning rabbit away, but it refused. It doesn't really like to stay in the beast controlling space. Wenshuan had no choice but to agree to its request. Fortunately, Shueyutu is not a large beast, otherwise it would have to stay even if it didn't want to stay. Because there are regulations in the city, it is prohibited to release large-scale beasts except under special circumstances. After all, this thing will cause panic. As soon as Wenshuan returned to the dormitory, he saw Wang Bin and 3 others sitting together. Their expressions were a little solemn. Especially Zhu Ming, his nose was bruised and his face was swollen, it looked like he had been beaten. What's wrong with you? Oh, he's not that yet. We went to the canteen to eat today, and there was a good queue there. A guy suddenly appeared and jumped in front of us. When Zhu Ming saw this, he immediately came forward to argue with the guy. As a result, the 2 of them started to move before they even said a few words. Zhu Ming's strength is not as good as the opponent's. His fire rock pig was defeated by the opponent's water rat. Zhu Ming was also beaten by him. Hearing this, Wenshuan frowned slightly. Mao Mao on the side said angrily, "We are also unlucky, the opponent's strength should be about the same as Zhu Ming. But his beast is a water rat, a water attribute beast. Its attack has a damage bonus to Zhu Ming's fire rock pig." Water rat. Bang. While Wenshuan was still thinking, someone kicked their dormitory door open. Everyone looked towards the door and saw that person. The man was holding an egg tart in his hand and eating it, with a proud look on his face. Wei Shouty, what are you doing here? Nothing, I just want to see if someone is crying. You. When Zhu Ming heard this, his eyes turned red, and he looked like he wanted to eat the other person alive. Wenshuan also became a little angry when he saw the other party looking like this. Bullying actually came to my door. It was obviously the other party who jumped in line, but the result was that he still acted like this. Hey, what's wrong? If you're not convinced, come again. Let's have a good competition again. Whoever is a coward will be the grandson. Competition. Okay, how about we have a fight? The other party's expression suddenly changed when he saw Wenshuan. He didn't expect that Wenshuan actually belonged to this dormitory. Wenshuan is the newcomer king, so the other party recognizes Wenshuan. What's wrong? Are you scared? When Wenshuan saw that the other party was silent, he was probably excited. Whoever is afraid, isn't it just a competition with you? Let's compete. But I'm feeling a little unwell today, and I have a bad stomach. So our competition should be held another day. After saying that, the guy immediately ran away without looking back. Bah, what the hell, a guy who bullies the weak and fears the strong. Wang Bin said a little indignantly. Okay, don't be angry. He probably won't trouble you again in a short time. He won't cause trouble to us in the short term, but what about in the future? If we don't keep it safe, he will come again. When Wenshuan heard this, he couldn't help but rolled his eyes. If he comes again, you won't fight back. What are your hands made for? Call back. When he thought of the opponent's skills, Wang Bin felt that he probably couldn't beat him. Just because you can't beat me now doesn't mean you won't be able to beat me in the future. If you are bullied and you can't beat me, you have to endure it first. When the fight is over, grab the opponent and beat him to death. This is called regaining the place. Just now Wenxuan could have taken action to teach the other party a lesson, but he did not. First of all, it's not necessary, he's just a clown. Secondly, the other party can be regarded as a wake-up call to Wang Bin and others. These three guys have been living a somewhat comfortable life recently. All right. Wang Bin and the other three were a little embarrassed. The difference was that Zhu Ming clenched his fists. It seemed that he wanted to work hard. The next day, Wenxuan got up early. Today he did not go to exercise. Instead, he took Abao and Xuantutu to the cafeteria for dinner. As a result, as soon as I walked to the door of the cafeteria, I ran into the guy from yesterday. When Wei Shouty saw Wenxuan, he seemed a little excited. He pulled a person taller than him and said, "Brother, he was the one who bullied me yesterday." When Wenxuan heard this, he immediately became happy. At this moment, he seemed to have returned to the junior high school in his previous life. At that time, he was the leader in the class, and those who were bullied by him liked to go home and call him brother. But, these days, is it useful to call me brother? You are not a female anchor. If you call me brother twice, people will reward you. When Wei Shouty's brother Wei Wen heard this, he frowned. Are you the one bullying my brother? Yeah, what's wrong? Do you want to stand up for him? Well, when Wei Wen heard this, he sighed. Obviously, Wei Wen is not a person who likes to cause trouble, but he is a very doting brother. He likes to give him a hand every now and then. If that doesn't work, you can just give him a few hands. Since you bullied my brother, do you want to give me an explanation? What do you want to say? How about we two have a good time and have a good time? Wenxuan hates talking to others, and if anything, he just talks with his fists. To deal with this guy in front of you, fists are enough. Boy, I didn't expect you to be so crazy. Okay, then let's practice hard. Let's go to the ring over there. Fighting between students is not prohibited in the school, but they have a rule that the fight must be held in the ring with a teacher present. This is to prevent accidents. I can fight you, but you have to give me some luck, otherwise why should I fight you? When Wei Wen heard this, he subconsciously groped around on his body and found a World of Warcraft crystal core. Wenxuan looked at the Warcraft crystal core and found that it was the silver level 1 Warcraft crystal core of the Whitewater Snake. This is okay. Wei Wen said. Since you can, let's start quickly. In Wei Wen's subconscious mind, he was bullying the weak, so he did not ask for the lottery from Wenxuan. At the same time, he thought he was sure to win this time. The two came to the ring. Don't say that I'm bullying you. I don't use my strongest beast, I just send the one I just conquered recently. Come out, Water Cat. Water Cat is a blue cat that stands on its feet with gloves like dewclaws on its hands. A pair of eyes that are extremely sharp. Water Cat. Attribute: Water. Gender: Female. Level: Bronze level 4. Qualification: Beat Peak Strength. Gold. Evolution Route: Julie Cat. Skills learned: Water Gun LV4, Claw LV5, Sharp Eye LV3. I didn't expect it to be a little female cat. After Wenxuan looked at it, he gave the imitation rabbit next to him a kick. Okay, don't stand there stupidly, hurry up. Ah, let me go. What if? Since Wenxuan conquered Xueyutu, he has never used it to fight with others. I'll just be me. Xueyutu reluctantly came to the stage. Work hard and I'll buy you carrots later. Carrot. As soon as he heard these 3 words, Xueyutu immediately became excited. Of all the foods, his favorite is carrots. A dog cannot change from eating shit, and a rabbit cannot change from eating carrots. This is the truth. After Xueyutu came on stage, the water-powered cat on the opposite side swooped over. Wow, you actually carried out a sneak attack, you don't have martial ethics. The rabbit started to run. The fighting here attracted the attention of the surrounding students, and everyone came closer. Seeing the battle on the stage, everyone started talking. Look, that rabbit can actually talk. It's so fun. Yes, it's so interesting. The beast can actually talk. It makes me want one too. TCH, what's the use of being able to talk? At this moment, a guy appeared. Although he was wearing glasses, he gave people the impression of a gentleman and a scumbag. He adjusted his glasses very irritably. The fighting ability of this gibberish rabbit is really poor. He can barely tolerate speaking out words. The rest is just garbage and has no value in cultivation at all. Anyone who chooses this scholarly rabbit to control the beast will be taken advantage of. When Wenxuan heard what this man said, he just glanced at him and did not argue with him. He didn't want to pay any attention to this idiot with eyes on his butt. In the arena, the rabbit guides the water cat to run on the stage. It didn't look like it was being chased, but rather like an entertainer playing tricks on a monkey, and the water cat was being played around by it. Stupid rabbit, stop playing. Do you still want to eat carrots? After hearing Wenxuan's words, Shuiyutu instantly became serious. Don't let it eat, this hatred is irreconcilable. The rabbit stopped, a carrot suddenly appeared in his hand, and he threw it at the water cat. Ha ha ha. The guy who just mocked Wenxuan couldn't help laughing. You see, what I said is that this charlatan is useless. It's just rubbish. Yeah. At this moment, a guy appeared behind the man. He slapped the man hard with his right hand. You call this idiot a piece of rubbish? Do you dare to make a bet with me? What to bet on? Let's bet on whether this can win. If you win, how about you eat shit live? Sure. Okay, everyone heard it. What if you can't do it? If I can't do it, I'm a turtle. Okay, then let's make an agreement and everyone can be fair. None of them noticed that the man who initiated the gambling game slightly raised the corners of his mouth, revealing a wicked smile. Shuiyutu's carrots were scattered all over the floor, and Wei Wen across from him became a little impatient. Are you done with it? This thing has no lethality. Why are you throwing it away? Not lethal. Shuiyutu, let him see if this carrot is lethal. When Shuiyutu heard this, he nodded. Boom. There was a loud noise. At that moment, all the carrots exploded at the same time, making a big hole in the entire arena. This. Everyone looked towards the ring in horror. The shock wave caused by the explosion just knocked them off their feet. What happened? Why did the arena explode? At this time, the arena was filled with smoke. After a while, the smoke cleared and the water cat was revealed. At this time, the hydraulic cat was seriously injured, lying quietly in the pit like a dead cat. Hydrocat. Wei Wen didn't care about anything else and immediately put the water cat into the beast control space, and then ran non-stop towards the school's infirmary. As for Wenxuan, he walked to the teacher's side and took the Warcraft crystal core given by Wei Wen in his hand. Stupid rabbit, let's go. Wenxuan walked down from the ring under the gaze of everyone. When he walked into the cafeteria, everyone cheered. Wow, he is so handsome. Explosion is art, the bang. It's so shocking. Oh my god, what kind of move was that just now? Is this the fighting power of Shuidi too? What about the person who just said that Shuexatu is rubbish? Stand up for me. At this time, the guy who was mocking Wenxuan secretly prepared to escape from the crowd. As a result, a chubby hand held him down. What are you doing? Let me go quickly. Let you go. Okay, you have to fulfill your promise first. What promise? Eating shit live in public. The person who spoke was Wang Bin. He said to Mao Mao who was not far away, Mao Mao, come here quickly. Come on, come on. Mao Mao is wearing a mask now and has a spittoon in his hand. Ah, what's so smelly? Nima, it's shit. What the hell? Who brought the shit out? Nima, you are simply a wolf killer. Wang Bin was holding on to the man at this time. The man was a bit too strong and almost broke free several times. Fortunately, at this time, a guy extended a hand of justice. It was Zhu Ming. Zhu Ming pushed the other party to the ground in one fell swoop. Wang Bin, what should I do now? What should we do? Of course we can. Under the horrified gazes of everyone, Wang Bin directly put the spittoon over the man's head. Vomit. Finally one guy couldn't take it anymore and she spit it out. Her vomiting caused a chain reaction, and everyone started vomiting one after another. Ha ha ha. Wang Bin smiled and walked towards the cafeteria with Zhu Ming and Mao Mao. Wenxuan had just finished buying food. He couldn't help but asked Wang Bin, what happened outside? Why are there so many people gathered? I don't know. Wang Bin pretended to be dumbfounded. When Wenxuan saw this, he didn't go into details. He felt that he was going to starve to death, and eating was the first priority. After eating, Wenxuan thought for a while and decided to go to the Beast Masters Association. Go get new tasks and earn some extra money. But this time, Wenxuan had a purpose in accepting the mission, and that was to choose a place like the forest. He planned to find some plant-based beasts and borrow some Warcraft crystal cores from them. Shueyutu is a beast with plant and rock attributes. A rock attribute skill, it can dig a hole in the ground with one move. As for the plant attribute skills, it doesn't know how to do it at all. If you have just learned the plant attribute skills, the battle will end faster. Since he had been to the Beast Tamer Association before, he was already familiar with it this time. Wenxuan looked at the mission sign and finally found a suitable goal, looking for sweet fruit. This sweet fruit is a very sweet fruit and is the favorite of curly cats. Curly cats are white cats with curly hair. This type of cat really has no breeding value, and generally only rich people will breed it. No, the guy who breeds curly cats has issued a mission to find sweet fruits, and he will be rewarded with 10,000 yuan for each one. It's great to have money, you can squander it like this. Wenxuan accepted the mission, took Abao and Shueyutu and set off towards the secret realm with the sweet fruit. One person and two beasts came to the forest of green leaves. Ah! It's so comfortable. After the rabbit came to the forest of green leaves, it was very happy and kept jumping around. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. It started to run, bathing in the warm sunshine. Shueyutu ran in front, followed by Wenxuan and Abao. They walked into the forest of green leaves. The trees in the forest of green leaves are very lush, each tree is more than 10 meters high. After Wenxuan walked in, he looked up and found that the green leaves on the top were like a huge umbrella, blocking the sun. As soon as he smelled it, he smelled the fragrance of green leaves, which was very refreshing. This is a natural oxygen bar. Bang! 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 The sound of fighting came from the meeting. Wenxuan looked for the sound and found that there were other adventurers, who were driving their own beasts to fight against the wild monsters. Instead of passing by, he took a different path. He is here to do a task, not to cause trouble, so try to avoid contact with others to avoid conflicts. Wenxuan took Abao and Shueyutu for a while in the forest of green leaves. Suddenly, a group of things hung down from the treetops. Upon seeing this, Shueyutu immediately took out his dagger and slashed at the guy. All I heard was a tearing sound. That guy was cut into two pieces. It's a green-skinned caterpillar. Since Mao Mao has one, Wenxuan is very familiar with it. At this time, he heard a clicking sound, and Wenxuan looked up. Good guy, you won't know if you don't look at it, but you will be shocked when you look at it. The treetops were actually covered with green-skinned caterpillars. They gathered together and transform into leaf-eliminating machines. He ate all the leaves on the tree. Crack! A green vine swung over and directly hit a green-skinned caterpillar, knocking them down. Wenxuan looked towards the attacker and found that it was a thorn flower. It was followed by a large group of thorn flowers, and it launched an attack on the green-skinned caterpillars on the trees. The green-skinned caterpillars were not vegetarians either, and they immediately organized a counterattack. For a while, the two sides fought together. When Wenxuan saw this, he did not join, but immediately fled the battlefield. Watch the fire from across the bank in the distance. The fighting between the two sides lasted for a long time and lasted for an hour before finally stopping. The final result was that the thorn flowers won, but they won miserably. Seeing the green-skinned caterpillar leave, all the thorn flowers also retreated. In nature, all things interact with each other, forming a food chain. This green-skinned caterpillar eats leaves and is extremely destructive to trees. The thorn flower attacks the green-skinned caterpillars and protects the trees. Just after both sides left, Wenxuan brought Abao and Shueyutu to the battlefield. Looking at the corpses on the ground, Wenxuan said to Xuantutu, "Why are you still standing there? Hurry up and dig out these guys' Warcraft crystal cores for me." Shueyutu was unwilling to do the hard work. This time it wasn't so lucky. The green-skinned caterpillars are not only disgusting, but also useless. There are so many of them, but there is not even a single World of Warcraft crystal core. Instead, the thorn flower produced 3 Warcraft crystal nuclei. At this time, Shuexuantu's mouth was pouting loudly, as if Wenxuan was bullying it. "It's not like you did all this for me, these things are all prepared for you. Okay, you can just eat them." Hearing this, Shueyutu picked up one and threw it into his mouth, and put the rest into the small bag. That small leather bag was bought by Shueyutu when Wenxuan and his friends passed by a specialty store. The beast can only swallow one crystal core at a time, and can only continue to swallow the next one after digestion. Shueyutu digested it very quickly. In just half an hour, the 3 redbud flowers Warcraft crystal cores were all digested by Shueyutu. How about it? Did you learn anything? Wenxuan didn't bother to look at Shueyutu's attributes, so he asked directly. Learned this. The rabbit did a pose. It imitated Spider-Man in the movie and made a spinning motion. Whoosh! A long green strip flew out and wrapped around the treetops not far away. Shueyutu grabbed the green vine with both hands and swung directly over. This guy. Wenxuan smiled bitterly and shook his head. The rabbit successfully mastered the vine whip skill by swallowing the Warcraft crystal core of the thorn flower. After learning the vine whip skill, Shueyutu rabbit seemed to be crazy. He imitated Tarzan, swinging in and out of the jungle. Abao was now standing next to Wenxuan. He looked at the rabbit swinging on the treetops with envy in his eyes. Looking at Abao next to him, Wenxuan couldn't help but touch its head with his hand. These days, he has indeed been neglecting Abao. Everything he did was basically to enhance Shueyutu's strength. After all, this guy's strength is far behind Abao. In Wenxuan's view, it is his shortcoming. Wenxuan did not want the shortcomings of the barrel to appear on him. Abao, let's exercise hard in this secret realm these 2 days. When Abao heard this, he nodded heavily. In the next few days, Wenxuan, Bao and Shueyutu continued to search for traces of Tiantianguo in the forest of green leaves. At the same time, he did not forget to give special training to the 2 beasts. Abao is more obedient and does whatever Wenxuan tells him to do. As for the rabbit, he is simply a lunatic, causing the forest of green leaves to panic. Especially those green-skinned caterpillars, their lives are miserable. I was eating green leaves happily, but a carrot bomb was thrown at me. Those who were weak were killed on the spot. Those who were slightly stronger were more or less injured. They thought about joining forces to deal with Shueyutu, but this guy was really mean. After throwing the carrot bomb, he turned around and ran away without giving them any time to react. Suddenly, 2 voices came from the forest of green leaves. One was the sound of slapping trees, which came from Abao. He found a big tree and kept slapping it. Its proficiency in bare paw slapping is also increasing at a speed visible to the naked eye. There is also an explosion, which is done by Xuantutu. This guy just throws carrot bombs around. After staying in the forest of green leaves for a week, Wenxuan finally found Tiantianguo. Looking at a tree with pink and tender fruits hanging in front of him, Wenxuan smiled. Fortunately, I finally found it. Wenxuan was still murmuring in his heart, that is, whether there are sweet fruits in this forest of green leaves. Now the doubt is gone. At the same time, Wenxuan also understood one thing, and that was why others offered 10,000 sweet fruits. It turns out that this thing is really hard to find. Wenxuan plans to instruct Xuantu Rabbit to pick sweet fruits. As a result, this guy didn't go, but looked ahead with a wary face. Abao also had the same reaction. What's wrong with you? Wenxuan looked forward. He had the eyes of God and could see more carefully than others. After seeing it clearly, Wenxuan finally understood why they looked like this. Snake. An emerald green snake lay under the sweet fruit tree. There are some weeds there, and if you don't look carefully, you will really be fooled by this guy. Green scaled snake. Attribute: poison. Gender: male. Level: bronze level 9. Qualification: Seat peak strength: silver. Evolution route: green scaled python. Skills learned: poison fang LV5, venom spray LV4, death coil LV6. This guy is quite strong. After seeing the properties of the green-scaled snake, Wenxuan felt a headache. How to solve it? At this moment, Shitan-tu took out a packet of medicinal powder. 1,000-mile catastrophe. After Wenxuan saw it, he couldn't help but ask Shueyutu, "Where did you come from?" "Get it from under the pillow." When Wenxuan heard this, the corners of his mouth couldn't help but twitch. He didn't expect that his Shueyutu was also a thief and stole Zhu Ming's Yixi Qinli. Is one pack enough? How about another pack? Listening to Shueyutu's words, Wenxuan looked at it subconsciously. This guy obviously looks so harmless, but his heart is so vicious. One pack is not enough, at least 3 packs are the starting point. Then go down, I have 5 bags here. No, 3 packs is enough. You value this green-scaled snake too much. Come on, let's go look for it and see if there's anything we can use. More than 10 minutes later, Wenxuan came back with Shuetutu and Abao. At this time, Shuetutu's face was full of excitement. The green-scaled snake in front of me can finally experience what it felt before. Squeak. There was a black-haired rat slipping in Shuetutu's hand, and it was struggling constantly. Shuetutu held the Yixi Chinli in his hand and sprinkled the black-haired rat all over the body like cumin powder. Let's go. Shuetutu grabbed the tail of the black-haired rat and threw it towards the green-scaled snake. Snakes usually wait in one place for many days to catch their prey. Obviously, the green-scaled snake in front of it had been squatting for many days, watching the black-haired rat flying over. It didn't care whether there was any problem, and just swallowed it in one bite. When the rabbit saw this, it couldn't help but laugh, as if it had foreseen the scene of the green-scaled snake having diarrhea. I have to say, that guy Zhu Ming's catastrophe was really awesome. The green-scaled snake reacted shortly after eating it. Phew. 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 There was a loud fart sound. The green-scaled snake stretched its belly, and a large amount of white mucus sprang out from the green-scaled snake's belly. The green-scaled snake played music in the jungle, but the sound of the music was not very pleasant. Because it's all pop. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. After seeing the rabbit, it was already laughing so hard that it was rolling on the ground holding its belly. You're laughing me to death, you're laughing me to death. Shuetutu felt happy at this moment. Finally, someone could experience the feeling he had before. Wenxuan looked at the green-scaled snake that kept having diarrhea. He did not attack, but waited quietly. After waiting for about an hour, the popping sound almost disappeared. The green-scaled snake lay on the ground with its tongue hanging out, looking helpless. When Wenxuan saw this, he knew that the time to attack had come. Stupid rabbit. Wenxuan shouted. Shuetutu understood immediately, and saw that it grabbed the void with its right hand, and a carrot bomb appeared out of thin air. Then Shuetutu threw the carrot bomb directly towards the green-scaled snake. Boom. The carrot bomb hit the green-scaled snake and immediately caused a big explosion. The rabbit's attack didn't stop, it started throwing carrot bombs non-stop. As for Po, he followed suit and used shadow balls for long-range attacks. The green-scaled snake is a highly venomous monster. If bitten by it, the consequences would be disastrous. So Wenxuan asked Shuetutu and Abao to use long-range attacks. The poor green-scaled snake was exhausted from pulling it. At this time, it didn't even have the strength to turn over. Can only be beaten passively. Under the siege of Shuetutu and Abao, the green-scaled snake succeeded in defeating the enemy. Stupid rabbit. Hearing this, the Shatong rabbit naturally understood what Wenxuan wanted to say, and immediately held the dagger and galloped toward the green-scaled snake. As a result, as soon as he got close to the green-scaled snake, its snake head actually bit the rabbit. Fortunately, Shatong rabbit had quick eyes and quick hands, and he ducked to avoid the green-scaled snake's attack. Wow, I'm so scared. The rabbit kept patting his beating heart. It's so terrible. He had a look of fear on his face and was almost bitten by the green-scaled snake. Wenxuan's brows furrowed. He clearly saw through the eyes of God that the green-scaled snake in front of him was dead. But it can actually attack people. Suddenly, Wenxuan remembered one thing, that is, the green-scaled snake can attack people because the body still has conditioned reflexes a short time before the snake dies. Wenxuan asked Shuetutu to wait, and after waiting for about 10 minutes, he asked Shuetutu to dig out the World of Warcraft crystal core from the green-scaled snake. Sure enough, there is. Wenxuan now held the green-scaled snake's Warcraft crystal core in his hand, and he faced the sun. The sun's rays shone on the Warcraft crystal core, and the entire Warcraft crystal core glowed with purple light. This is great stuff. However, the green-scaled snake's World of Warcraft crystal core is poisonous after all, and is incompatible with Po and the tongue rabbit. Therefore, Wenxuan did not plan to use it for them, but planned to sell it directly for money. Then buy a new World of Warcraft core. Okay, let's go pick the sweet fruit. Wenxuan looked towards the top of the sweet fruit tree and found a total of 10 pink sweet fruits on it. Rabbit, go pick it off for me. Now Xueyutu is Wenxuan's royal coolie. After hearing Wenxuan's words, Xueyutu did not climb the tree, but used the vine whip. The green vines spread towards the tiantian fruit, wrapped around tiantian, and then picked it off. The rabbit relied on this method to pick all the sweet fruits on the tree. Wenxuan started stuffing tiantian guo into his backpack, but when he filled 7 of them, he found that he couldn't put them in anymore. Just right, there are 3 in total, let's take 1 each. As soon as Wenxuan finished speaking, Xueyutu quickly picked up one and started to eat it. Click, click, click. The rabbit was like a starved ghost reincarnated, gnawing desperately. As for Abao, he took a bite gently, and his face was instantly filled with a happy smile. When Wenxuan saw this, he also picked up one and took a bite. Yeah, delicious. It's fragrant and crispy, with a hint of sweetness and a rich fruity aroma. No wonder that Curly Cat likes to eat this so much. He started to eat, and after a while, all one of them was gone. Wenxuan looked like he still had something to say. Just when he was about to continue taking it, he suddenly remembered that this sweet fruit was worth 10,000 yuan each. Forget it, keep the money to buy food for these 2 little guys. After getting the sweet fruit, Wenxuan took Xueyutu and Abao on their way home. He came to the Beast Masters Association, handed in the sweet fruit, and received 70,000 yuan. Puff, puff. Wenxuan had just received 70,000 yuan when he heard someone making strange noises in an attempt to attract his attention. Is something wrong with you? Little brother, after getting so much money, have you ever thought about how to spend it? Wenxuan looked towards the person who spoke and found that the person was thin and small, looking like a monkey. He instantly became alert. Don't be nervous, come with me. After saying that, he started walking in front. Seeing this, Wenxuan naturally followed him curiously. He has the eye of God and has long seen through the opponent's strength. Bronze level 4. Wenxuan is now a master of the 6th level of bronze. Facing a person of the 4th level of bronze, he can easily kill him instantly. Soon the man took Wenxuan to a small alley. He came close to Wenxuan and whispered, "Little brother, have you heard of the black market?" Black market. Yes, it's the black market. There are many kinds of things in the black market, which are of high quality and low price. And as long as you have money, you can buy anything you want. When Wenxuan heard this, he instantly became interested. There is such a place in this world, but he still remains vigilant, because the reason why the black market is a black market is because it is a no-nonsense zone. Would you like to take me to the black market? Certainly. As long as you give me 10,000 yuan, I will take you to the black market. How about it? Isn't this a good deal? Just when Wenxuan was thinking about whether to give money. Don't believe what he says, little brother, if you want to go to the black market, I will take you there. Just then, an old man wearing a yellow duck vest, slippers, and a beer bottle appeared. At this time, the old man looked drunk, and his cheeks became red from drinking. When the thin monkey man heard this, his face instantly became ferocious. Smelly old man, please stop meddling in other people's business. The eyes he looked at the old man were full of murderous intent, and the thin monkey man had murderous intentions. Blocking someone's way of making money is like killing one's parents. Such hatred is irreconcilable. Hey, someone actually wants to fight me. Wonkai, show the other person some color. Whoosh. A completely black dog appeared, unleashing a terrifying force of intimidation. Feeling the terrifying intimidation of this wave, Wenxuan almost ran away. Black Wolf King. When the thin monkey saw the Black Wolf King, he was immediately scared to death. The strength of this thing must at least start with gold. How could he, a small bronze, be its opponent? Looking at the thin monkey man's retreating back, the little old man snorted coldly. You must be a fast runner, otherwise at least one of your legs will be left behind today. It can be seen that the little old man does not want to embarrass the other party. Otherwise, with his strength, if he wanted to kill the opponent, it would not be as simple as crushing an ant to death. Little brother, don't you want to go to the black market? Come with me. Under the leadership of the little old man, the two came to a street corner. The little old man knocked on the wall with his hand, 3 long and 2 short, and the wall at the corner of the street opened directly. He took out 6 coins from his pocket, 2 were 1 yuan, 2 were 50 cents, and 2 were 1 cent. Then he led Wenxuan inside. There is a process to enter the black market. Go to the wall on the street corner outside and tap a few times, 3 long and 2 short. Then the wall opens, and you have to give money to the guard. It must be coins, which are $1, 5 cents and 10 cents. They charge this money not to make money, but to confirm your identity. Only those who know the rules can enter the black market. After the little old man finished speaking, he stopped and turned to look at Wenxuan. At this time, his face was always filled with a kind smile. Boy, are you full of questions now? Are you curious, why should I help you when you and I meet by chance? When Wenxuan heard this, he nodded. Because you look like my grandson. When he said this, the little old man's eyes were filled with nostalgia. But he was not as lucky as you. While exploring a secret realm, he died in the mouth of a monster. When Wenxuan heard this, he didn't know how to comfort the little old man. All I can say is, please forgive me. It's okay. Everything is over. I've already looked away. When Wenxuan heard this, he said nothing more. Although the little old man spoke very optimistically, his eyes betrayed him, as a trace of tears appeared in his eyes. Okay, we're at the place, this is the black market. Go and have a look yourself. I'm going to go do my own thing. After saying that, the little old man left directly. Wenxuan glanced at the little old man's back, and then started wandering around the black market. The black market is very lively, with people coming and going. There are roadside stalls on both sides of the street, which is a bit like an antique street in a previous life. The vendors kept shouting there. Wenxuan took a look and found that there were indeed many things here, but most of them were ordinary items. He has the eyes of God and can see quickly. As a result, Wenxuan walked around and discovered one thing, that is, good things were too expensive and he couldn't afford them. All he can afford is junk. Sure enough, there are no fools in this world. Wenxuan was a little disappointed, but everything in front of him was also reasonable. Just when he was about to leave. Come and take a look at the freshly baked Warcraft crystal core. A young guy showed up. He set up his stall and shouted. If you're passing by, don't miss it. When Wenxuan saw this, he was ready to go and check. As a result, he was stopped by someone. Wenxuan looked at this person and found that he was still an old acquaintance. It was the guy who wanted to bring him to the black market before. Shohu whispered in Wenxuan's ear, little brother, please don't buy his Warcraft crystal core. That guy is a master of forgery. Don't look at the fact that his Warcraft crystal core is very advanced. Actually, they are all fake. They are made from low-level Warcraft crystal cores and processed into high-level Warcraft crystal cores. Fake. Wenxuan had learned a little bit about the identification of World of Warcraft crystal nuclei. The properties of Warcraft crystal cores can be identified by color. Green is the plant attribute, yellow is the wind attribute, brown is the earth attribute, red is the fire attribute. The level of the Warcraft core is identified by the stars and moon in the Warcraft core. For example, a moon plus 3 stars is a bronze 3rd level Warcraft crystal core. If it is 9 moons plus 4 stars, it is the 4th level magic beast crystal core of the extraordinary king. Of course, with Wenxuan's current level, it is impossible to come into contact with the latter's Warcraft crystal core. Although he knew that what Shohu said might be true, Wenxuan still wanted to take a look. After all, he had come, and he didn't want to leave empty-handed. Moreover, Wenxuan possesses the eye of God, and nothing can deceive this thing. Something. Shohu glanced at Wenxuan's back, feeling a little aggrieved. It was true that he wanted to defraud Wenxuan of his money before, but this time, he rarely showed kindness and wanted to help Wenxuan. As a result, good intentions are treated like donkey liver and lungs. No, I don't want to be a good person anymore, I'll just continue to be a bad guy. It turned out that after Shohu was scared by the little old man just now, he regretted it. A scene emerged in his mind. Give me a chance, I had no choice before, now I want to be a good person. Unexpectedly, the little old man really gave him a chance. He was grateful and became a good person. But it's hard to be a good person. What is a good person? What is a bad person? If a good person does a bad thing, then he is a bad person. When a bad person does a good thing, does he become a good person? Just like what the Buddha said, put down the butcher's knife and become a Buddha immediately. What Wenxuan didn't know was that one of his choices changed the fate of another guy. He came to the boy's stall. Wenxuan looked towards the stall and saw that the prices of the Warcraft crystal cores on it were marked. You don't know if you don't see it, but you will be shocked when you see it. Good guy, this guy in front of me really dares to bid. The prices of the above Warcraft crystal cores range from 10,000 to hundreds of thousands. Little brother, what do you want? Look around, pick out whatever you like, tell me which one you like, and I'll wrap it up for you. Wenxuan took a quick glance and quickly made a decision in his mind. What Slim Monkey said just now is true. This guy is really good at making fakes and raising the grade of these Warcraft crystal cores. Wenxuan took a look at this man's appearance and found that he seemed to be honest, but he was actually a profiteer. How is it? Little brother, are you satisfied with it? When Wenxuan heard this, he shook his head. No, what you sell are all fakes. Aren't you afraid that I will report you? Wenxuan's words made the other party change his expression. Why did you say this? You must take responsibility for your nonsense. You say I'm talking nonsense, do you dare to find an expert to check it out? As soon as he heard that he was looking for an expert, the stall owner's expression changed. These things of his can be used to deceive novices who have just entered the black market, because these guys are stupid, have a lot of money, and have little experience, so they end up cheating. In his eyes, they were just delicious little fat sheep. I didn't expect that the guy in front of me was so smart. Then what do you want? Not very good. I just want to know if you have any other Warcraft crystal nuclei in your body. I don't like any of this. If there is anything else, just show it to me. If I'm satisfied, we can discuss the price. As long as the price is right, I will spend the money to buy it. The stall owner made a compromise, and he didn't want to make the matter a big deal. Although many people present knew that he sold fake goods, the rule of this black market is that once the goods are sold, no responsibility will be taken. If you buy a fake product, you will have no choice but to consider yourself unlucky. There once was a guy who wanted to make a big splash in this black market by virtue of his status as a master-level beast master. As a result, it was made into a specimen by the owner of the black market and hung on the wall not far away. Having learned from the past, everyone is honest. The stall owner took out a Warcraft crystal core from his pocket. The Warcraft crystal core was completely black. It's evil. Wenxuan immediately became interested. Looking at the Warcraft crystal core in his hand, the stall owner's mind suddenly drifted to this morning. He carried the Warcraft crystal core on his back early in the morning and planned to set up a stall in this black market. As a result, I met a black spherical guy in the jungle, with one eye and a pair of bat wings. The guy showed his sharp fangs and was ready to attack him. His flame dog took action at this time, killing the guy instantly with a fire bomb. Then he dug out the opponent's Warcraft crystal core. Since the stall owner just got this Warcraft crystal core, he doesn't have time to deal with it yet. How about this? Because that monster is too weak, in the opinion of the stall owner, its skills shouldn't be much better. In this world, it is almost impossible to know what skills are recorded in the crystal core of Warcraft. Unless you see the owner of this Warcraft crystal core, the skills he used in battle during his lifetime. Although Wenxuan wanted it very much, he still pretended to be indifferent. He glanced at the other party subconsciously and whispered. You're not going to fool me with just any junk, are you? How could it be? Don't you see there's a moon and a star up there? This is a genuine bronze first order Warcraft crystal core. When he said this, the stall owner felt a little guilty and his eyes wandered. Because in his subconscious mind, this Warcraft crystal core is garbage, even if it is a bronze first level Warcraft crystal core. On his stall, although the Warcraft crystal cores had been tampered with, their original grades were higher than the one in front of him. Okay, then I want this one. Hearing this, the stall owner was relieved. In his eyes, Wenxuan is a broom star, and he hopes Wenxuan leaves quickly. Then how much does this Warcraft crystal core cost? 10,000. It's your hard-earned money, it can't be less. 10,000 yuan to buy such a bronze-level Warcraft crystal core is already very cheap. If it were outside, 30,000 yuan might not be enough to buy it. Because the output of World of Warcraft crystal cores is low, everything depends on appearance. It would be a long night and many dreams, so Wenxuan directly bought the World of Warcraft crystal core. Wenxuan didn't want to bargain anymore. After all, the other party was a 7th level Bronze Beast Master. If he was pushed into a hurry, it would be bad if he jumped over the wall. He took the World of Warcraft crystal core, came to the exit of the black market, and left directly. After walking out of the black market, the information about the Warcraft crystal core just appeared in Wenxuan's mind. Little Devil's Warcraft crystal core, level 1 bronze, recorded skills. Demon Flying Needle, LV3. Use evil energy to condense the flying needle and launch an attack. Magic Devouring, LV1. After causing contact damage to the enemy, you can swallow the opponent's magic power. Good stuff. Wenxuan did not expect that he would find a treasure. If that little brother knew that there was such a skill, he would probably be ashamed of himself. Abao. Wenxuan summoned Abao. Wenxuan had used many Warcraft crystal cores for Shueyutu before, but Wenxuan couldn't favor one over the other, so this one was given to Abao. Moreover, it is an evil attributed Warcraft crystal core, which is more compatible with Abao. Abao opened his mouth and swallowed the Warcraft crystal core given by Wenxuan. Because it is a bronze-level Warcraft crystal core, Abao can be refined very quickly. It didn't take long to absorb it. A flash of blue light flashed across Abao's body, and Wenxuan discovered that it had actually upgraded again. Baby Panda. Attribute: Evil. Gender: Male. Level: Bronze level 7. Qualification: SSS Peak Strength. King. Evolution Route: Panda Fighter. Skills learned: Barbarian Bull Fist LV5, Bear Palm Slap LV7, Tarzan Pressure LV4, Roar of Evil LV4, Tear Claw LV5, Stealth LV4, Iron Skin LV6, Shadow Ball LV4, Magic Devouring LV1. I actually learned the skill of swallowing magic power. There are 2 skills in the Little Devil's Warcraft crystal core. One is the Devil's Flying Needle, and the other is the Magic Swallowing. Although the former is good, Poe already has a similar one, which is the Shadow Ball. As for the latter one, it is a magical skill. This thing is simply a different world version of the star absorbing technique, which absorbs the enemy's magic power and then uses it to attack the enemy. The only drawback is that you have to touch the enemy and then launch the attack to take effect. But for Abao, this skill is just right. It is a powerful beast in itself, and its fighting method is close combat. A song suddenly sounded in Wenxuan's mind. There are no guns or cannons. The enemy made them for us. Fighting between beasts requires spending magic power. With this skill, as long as Abao causes damage to the enemy in melee, it can absorb some magic power. This will be LV1, which absorbs 1% of the opponent's magic power. Although it is a bit small, this skill can be upgraded. In other words, when its level rises, it will absorb more magic power. This time I found a treasure. Wenxuan walked towards the school with satisfaction. He already had a new goal in his heart, which was to take Abao out to fight. In this way, the proficiency of the mana devouring skill can be quickly improved. Wenxuan returned to school with Abao and Shueyutu. At this moment, Wenxuan was holding an ice cream stick in his hand, Shueyutu was gnawing on a radish, and Abao was chewing tender bamboo shoots in his mouth. One person and 2 beasts were walking leisurely on the road leading to the dormitory. Their performance at this time was in sharp contrast to the surrounding classmates. At this time, the students on the road were all frowning and whispering non-stop. I can't stand it. That guy is too arrogant. Yes, you won't save any face for us. Oh, if only I were stronger, I would be able to stand out for our school. Why don't our teachers send out students from the 3rd year of high school? That way we won't let the students from the number 1 middle school run wild. No. 1 middle school. What a joke. Wenxuan is now a student at Guangzhou No. 2 middle school. He is in his 2nd year of high school. Next year will be my senior year of high school. Then I will take the college entrance examination and enter university to live. The strength of the number 1 and number 2 middle schools in Guangzhou is almost the same. In order to compete for the few resources, the 2 schools have become competitive. Similarly, students from the 2 schools don't deal with each other. What they mean is that people from No. One middle school came to the door, and it seems that our people can't beat them. At this moment, Wenxuan saw Wang Bin and the other three looking angry and walking towards him. Wang Bin. Wenxuan shouted. Hearing this familiar voice, Wang Bin seemed to have seen the savior. Wenxuan, Wenxuan. Wang Bin looked a little excited, as if he had seen the dawn. Wenxuan, you should go to the school gymnasium quickly. The students from No. 1 middle school were here to play. Our men went up and were beaten down by him within a few rounds. The teacher originally wanted to send senior students to teach that guy a lesson, but the vice principal stopped him. Because he thinks we can't afford to lose that person. If we send seniors to fight, we won't win with force. If we lose, we will be even more embarrassed. When Wenxuan heard this, his face was calm, as if it had nothing to do with him. Just then, Wenxuan heard the sound, turned around and saw that it was Feng Xiang. Teacher, what's wrong? Feng Zhang's face looked a little ugly now. He had just gone to watch the game, and he wished he could go on stage and beat that stinky guy hard. That guy is too pretentious and doesn't give me any face. But he didn't take action because he knew that he couldn't take action against the other party. After all, he was a teacher in the school. Wenxuan, go to the gym and beat that guy up. If you win, I'll give you 500 points. If you can win, I will also give you 500 points. At some point, Zhou Zimei also came here. Although Zhou Zimei didn't deal with Dugu Tongtong before, it was a personal grudge, and now someone is knocking on her door to bully the students in their school. This is a slap in the face of all the teachers in the school. I'll give it two. Wenxuan took a glance and found that the head teachers of the 6 classes were all here. If a person gives him 500 points, then he has 3,000 points. For Wenxuan, points are still very tempting, because they can be exchanged for good things in the school's treasure house. Wenxuan agreed. After all, this was to do something for the school, which could also be regarded as bringing glory to the school. And seeing the expectant looks on the teachers' faces, Wenxuan couldn't shirk it. He turned around and walked towards the gymnasium not far away. As soon as Wenxuan entered physical education, he saw a student being defeated. Ha ha ha, rubbish, the students in your number 2 middle school are all rubbish. What kind of bullshit school dares to compete with our number 1 middle school, and you are the only one worthy of it? Is there anyone else who wants to come here and get beaten? On the arena, the student glanced at everyone present with scornful eyes. He seemed to be a man of high status, looking at everyone with such arrogance. Is this how you pretend? Wenxuan muttered quietly. Wenxuan, that's that guy, give him a good beating to death. Yes, let him understand why the flowers are so red. Crazy, he is so crazy that there is no limit to it. Wenxuan, come on, beat him until his own mother doesn't even recognize him. Good. Under the watchful eyes of everyone, Wenxuan took the stage. At this time, everyone's eyes were focused on Wenxuan. Wenxuan, it's Wenxuan here. Great, Wenxuan is on stage, we have hope. Wenxuan is our rookie king. He is handsome and powerful. Great. Woohoo. We will definitely win this time. Wenxuan, come on, help us get revenge. The audience in the audience had been feeling aggrieved for a long time. After meeting Wenxuan, they expressed all their expectations. Wenxuan. Your name is Wenxuan. What bullshit rookie king. Lin Tianbao looked Wenxuan up and down, his eyes full of disdain. HMPH, I think you are just a pretty boy with a silver pewter gun tip, which looks good but is useless. Facing Lin Tianbao's ridicule, Wenxuan said calmly, if I have a silver-like pewter gun tip, your mother will know if I try it on. For rude people, Wenxuan would naturally greet his mother directly. Reasoning with such people is tantamount to playing the piano to an ox. HMPH, you are so sharp-tongued. I don't believe that your strength is as powerful as your mouth. Savage monkey, using monkey punch on his baby panda. Lin Tianbao directly ordered his savage monkeys to attack the baby panda in front of Wenxuan. The savage monkey rushed towards the baby panda. It made a fist with its right hand and struck forward. When Abao saw this, he naturally slapped him in the face. Bump. The two beasts collided. Whoosh. A figure stepped back. It's a savage monkey. What a strength. Lin Tianbao didn't expect that Wenxuan's panda cub was so strong. After catching the savage monkey's run, he punched it with all his strength and knocked back the savage monkey. Wenxuan now uses the Eye of God to look at Lin Tianbao's savage monkey. Savage monkey. Attribute: fighting. Gender: male. Level: bronze level 7. Qualification: B. Peak strength. Gold. Evolution route: barbarian monkey king. Skills learned: monkey fist LV6, claw LV4, anger LV5, war cry LV3. As expected of a student from No. 1 middle school. With his strength, it goes without saying that he does have the capital to challenge here. But it's okay to challenge, but it won't work if you talk without ethics. Wenxuan planned to teach the other party a lesson and let him know that there are people outside the world and there are mountains beyond the mountains. Whoosh. After Po repelled the savage monkey, he flew towards the savage monkey. The two beasts began a close combat. Touch, touch, touch. Fist to fist, foot to foot. In just a few minutes, the two beasts exchanged many moves. This game became a tug of war. If it were before, Wenxuan would still be worried, because before learning the skill magic swallowing, when Abao fought with others, the competition was all about blood volume. It's different now. Every time its attack lands on an enemy, it can absorb some of the enemy's magic power. After one ebb and flow, the magic power of the savage monkey finally bottomed out. The savage monkey who has lost his magic power can only rely on the strength of his body to hold on. Bump. Po punched the savage monkey. Bull punch. One punch knocked the savage monkey off the ring. Win, win. We won. Wow, wow, we finally won. Great, so great. Seeing Wen Zan's panda cub defeat Lin Tianbao's savage monkey, everyone present began to cheer. They had been depressed for too long and urgently needed a victory to boost their morale. And Wenxuan brought victory to them. Looking at the severely injured savage monkey, Lin Tianbao gritted his teeth. At this time, he was a little unwilling, because at this time, Abao was also in the stage of being a candle in the wind. Savage monkey is a fighting beast with a damage bonus to Po. Come out, stone-armored rhino. While everyone was still cheering, Lin Tianbao released his second beast. Whoosh. The stone-armored rhinoceros opened its mouth, and a huge stone flew towards Abao. Oops, Wenxuan, be careful. Despicable, why are you like this? It's really disgusting. You actually carried out a sneak attack. As long as I can win, you don't care what I do. Lin Tianbao showed his ugly face. Just when the stone was about to hit Po, whoosh. A green vine came through the air, like a whip, and directly wrapped around the stone-armored rhino's flying stone. I heard that someone is going to beat up my boss. This makes me, the younger brother, put my face wherever I can. When everyone heard the words, they all looked towards the speaker, only to find that it was a rabbit talking. Rabbit? Rabbit can actually talk. Lin Tianbao said in shock. You guy, did you come from the deep mountains and old forests? Do you have any knowledge? You don't even know the rabbit. It's just that, with your knowledge, you don't know how to go to No. 1 middle school. I'm afraid it's through the back door. Hearing everyone's ridicule, Lin Tianbao's face turned ugly. He had indeed entered No. 1 middle school through the back door. However, his strength is real, but at this time, no one pays attention to his strength. Shuiyutu jumped onto the ring and helped about Wenxuan's side. Then he turned to the stone-armored rhinoceros and said, Boy, how dare you sneak attack your uncle, my boss. You're dead. When the stone-armored rhinoceros heard this, a flash of disdain flashed across its face. The threat of a rabbit scares several people. Hey, you dare to look down on me, then let me teach you a lesson. After saying that, the rabbit flew towards the stone-armored rhino. When the stone-armored rhinoceros saw this, it kicked its feet back violently, and suddenly it was like a heavy tank, rushing towards the rabbit. The rabbit jumped slightly to the side and avoided the attack of the stone-armored rhino. Boom, boom, boom. The stone-armored rhinoceros was huge, and its footsteps landed on the ring, making a dull sound like a drum. It turned around and continued charging at the rabbit. The two guys are like a matador and a bullfight, and the rabbit is the matador. The stone-armored rhinoceros almost bumped into the tongue-tied rabbit every time, and sometimes it was just like this, missing by a hair's breadth. What the stone-armored rhino didn't know was that those tiny bits were deliberately controlled by the rabbit. Wen Xuan used the Eye of God to look at the stone-armored rhinoceros. Stone-armored rhinoceros. Attribute. Rock. Gender. Male. Level. Bronze level 4. Qualification. Seat peak strength. Silver. Evolution route. Armored rhino. Skills learned. Bull crash LV4, flying stone LV5, stone armor LV3. After several consecutive attacks failed, the stone-armored rhinoceros was panting. Little Niu Niu, you can't do this anymore, you can't do this, you need to practice more. Shuetutu showed a devilish smile. Snap. A green vine whip hit the stone-armored rhinoceros, and the stone-armored rhinoceros let out a cry of pain. It continued its attack. But in its heyday, it couldn't attack the rabbit, let alone now. The rabbit began to play with the stone-armored rhinoceros. Whenever the stone-armored rhinoceros was about to rest, it would hit it with a vine whip. The vine whip is a plant-type move that has a damage bonus to the stone-armored rhino. Hitting its body is particularly painful. At this time, the faces of the audience changed. Devil, this is a devil rabbit. It's horrifying. It's so horrifying. You can obviously defeat the opponent directly, but you actually torture your opponent like this. Jatui, it's a good thing that the person I'm fighting against is not me, otherwise I'm afraid I'd be to death. It's over, I have goosebumps all over my body. It's great, it's so great. This is the battle I want to see. I don't know who shouted such a sentence, and the entire audience instantly became excited. It's comfortable, it's so comfortable. Woo-woo, Wenxuan, thank you for letting us see such a good game. Everyone cried with joy. When Wenxuan saw this, he smiled slightly and knew that it was time to end this battle. So he said to the rabbit, stop playing with the rabbit and give it a good time. Okay. Although Shueyutu said this with his mouth, there was a hint of cruelty in his eyes. Although he only followed Wenxuan for a few weeks, Wenxuan gave him the warmth of family. And Abao is the big brother in this family, and he usually takes special care of him. The stone-armored rhino in front of me actually dared to bully its big brother. Unforgivable. The rabbit jumped suddenly and was behind the stone-armored rhino in an instant. It grabbed the void with its right hand, and a huge carrot appeared out of thin air. Shui Tantu's gunpowder technique is already very proficient. Before, he threw small carrot bombs to save magic power. It's different now. Wenxuan wants a quick decision. At this time, there was only a hole behind the stone-armored rhinoceros, and the rabbit suddenly pushed the huge carrot into the hole. Then he suddenly jumped back and pulled away. Bump. There was a loud noise. Little Daisy's mother's class has started. Plop. The stone-armored rhinoceros fell to the ground, its back was rotten, and it was directly blown to pieces by the rabbit carrot bomb. Those spectators who were close to the arena were all in bad luck. Countless rice fields were mixed with blood, splattering all over their faces. A puff of smoke filled the battlefield. Whoosh! Shueyutu returned to Wenxuan, and at this time Wenxuan was walking out of the gymnasium with Abao. Where are the people? Everyone found that Wenxuan was missing, and only the frightened Lin Tianbao collapsed on the ground. There it is. Everyone saw Wenxuan walking towards the outside of the gymnasium. Wow! Tight pants. Looking at Wen Zan's majestic back, little stars appeared in everyone's eyes. Is this the boss? When it's over, I brushed off my clothes and hid my body and name. It must be him. Thanks for watching.